So I've been told by many a source that nobody on the planet remembers Beastly. Therefore, we're going to be rereading it. Hey guys, what's up? It's Dom. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dom and I make bookish content along with travel vlogs as well as miscellaneous collection videos. Question of the day is, what is your favorite retelling? If you're wondering why we're here today, it's because I watched 2 videos about the movie Beastly. The first one was by Jenny Nicholson, which says nobody on the planet remembers Beastly. Another one was by Trin, which says something along the same lines. Now, both of these YouTubers talked about the movie. I've never seen the movie, but I read the book back in 8th grade, and honestly, just to prove their point, I forgot this was on my shelf for the longest time. It hit me like 2 days ago, and it's because of those videos that I feel the need to reread this. I don't remember much other than there was a chat room involved and like the beast didn't look like this. He looked like an actual beast. This was not going to be a book I read in 2019, but you know, I've changed my mind because those videos just pulled me in. And I need an easy read right now because I just finished The Count of Monte Cristo. So I kind of need something like trashy, so to speak. And when I say trashy, I think I mean that in a good way because when I was 13, I really liked it. Who knows what I'll think at 22 years old? But we're in this together. Also, yes, my pajama pants don't match my New Zealand hoodie, but look, it's Coke with hearts and the polar bear. Isn't that exciting? And you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a hood. No, you're not. You don't care. But I'm wearing a hood because my hair is a mess. So I'm gonna go eat Taco Bell, and then I think we'll get started on this. Okay, so the hoodie got really hot, so I'm just gonna wear a hat right now. We're gonna get started. I don't know how many pages this is. I probably should have looked. I could probably finish this in a few days just because I need to go to bed soon because I have work at 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. And then I could just read all day when I come home from work. And then I don't work on Thursday, so that's fun. Maybe I can finish this by Thursday. We'll see, but I'm sure we're in for an interesting ride. Okay, so I got through the first part, which is just chat room, and it's really cool because the author Alex Flynn, right? Yeah, the author Alex Flynn actually brings in influences from other stories. So you have Beast, which is obviously a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and then we have someone called Silent Maid, which is actually the Little Mermaid, and she's talking about how she wants to trade her voice to meet the sailor because she saved the sailor. We have a frog who used to be a prince, so the Prince and the Frog. Right now we have a guy called Grizzly Bear, and like he was turned into a bear, so I have a feeling that's after Brother Bear, but I'm not too sure. And then we have this guy named Mr. Anderson who says he's gotten a lot of practice studying, and two of his influences are Grimm, assuming Brothers Grimm, and then Walt Disney. So I thought that was kind of cool. So, and from my understanding, the movie does not have that, but I could be totally wrong. So yeah, so that was just the introduction, and then right now we're on chapter 1, which is page 1, so all these pages were like nothing. So we're going to get reading. This one I don't think I'll do a little montage here just because like that would waste time. But I will read as much as I can before checking back in. Y'all, I'm only on page 2 of chapter 1, and this boy is already so arrogant, which I know is the point. But holy shit, I don't remember him being this bad. First of all, he's 14. I don't remember the characters being this young. 14. And then, literally, an insufferable line, because he noticed a girl staring at him, and then he was part of the ballot for, like, 9th grade prince or whatever. First of all, the girl's staring at him, and he's like, huh, she'd been staring at me. Like, okay, congrats. And then he was like, and then he said, I examined the ballot. Not only was my name Kyle Kingsbury there for 9th grade prince, but I was the sure winner. No one could compete with my looks and my dad's cash. Ain't you something special? Like, I know that's the point of this story. He's supposed to be so bad. That's why he pisses off the witch. But holy shit. Are there people who actually act like that? I can't. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, there's another line I need to read. Okay, so at this point, both Kyle and Trey, their names are on the ballots. Why, thank you. I thought about voting for Trey, just to be nice. Trey was good for comic relief, but not too gifted in the looks department. His family was nobody special either. His dad was a doctor or something. They might post the vote totals they might post the vote totals in the school newspaper, and it'd be pretty embarrassing for Trey if he came in last or even didn't get any votes at all. Like, he's literally assuming no one's gonna vote for his friend. Like, what kind of friend is that? This author's doing a great job of making this guy seem like a prick, and it's only page 3. Y'all, I need to record my live reactions to this book, I think, because it's so funny, but I don't even know if that's, like, I mean that in a good way. I really don't, like, okay, I know Kyle's supposed to be insufferable. That's what gets his ass in trouble. So he meets the witch. Her name's Kendra, right? I mean, obviously, like, we know by now she's gonna be the one to curse him. And he literally says, this goth freak sitting in the back, and she was a fat chick, dressed in the kind of flowing black clothes you usually only see in witches or terrorists. Okay. And then so this girl, her name's Kendra, she points out that it's a popularity contest, you're voting on looks. So he makes the comment that ugly people are looking down and keeping silent. And also, oh, what was the other one? So she made, like, a mention how, like, it's, like, smarter people versus, like, attractive people. We know in the real world that's, like, stupid to compare to. But for the sake of this book, smart people versus attractive. Because she basically says it's harder to see if someone's smarter. So this dude, Kyle, says, if someone's so smart, they figured out how to get better looking. You could lose weight, get plastic surgery, even get your face scraped and your teeth bleached. Oh my god, I don't remember him being this much of an asshole when I was 13. Whoo! Okay, she's doing a really, I keep saying, I want to emphasize that I know this is on purpose. Like, he's supposed to be the shittiest person ever. Before any of you, like, comment that. Like, I know that's the purpose, but, like, oh my god, I don't remember him being this shitty. I'm in for a wild ride. Alright, so it's clear to me that Kyle has some issues going on, mostly because of his parents, and I think that's why it made him so arrogant, because he definitely gets it from his father. But also he mentions that his mom left him when he was about 11 and doesn't talk to him. Even his dad doesn't talk to him, he doesn't really notice him. And, you know, like, no child should feel like that, so you feel bad for him in a sense. But like I said, you see where he got the arrogance from his father. So his father's co-anchor, because his father works in the news, was canned. Dad's words. And he said, between you and me, if she lost the last 20 pounds after she had the baby, or better yet, not had the baby in the first place, she'd still have a job. Wow. I don't know if it's good or bad that I keep updating you, and I'm not even 25 pages into this book. But unsurprisingly, Kyle is an asshole to his maid. Poor Magda's just trying to do her job. He freaks out because she bought the wrong flower, which is obviously foreshadowing. And he literally tells her that you should be afraid of me. If my dad finds out you spent his money wrong, he can deport you. Like, he literally said that to her. And he calls her stupid. So at one point, he, like, to her face called her stupid, and, you know, like a grown woman, she didn't react. She kind of just kept doing what she was doing. But he was like, you're so stupid, you don't even understand the word stupid. And then he, like, makes comments about her English too, like, oh my gosh, she probably doesn't even know enough English to understand that word, blah blah blah. And I'm like, are we really surprised that he's the beast of this story? Because I'm not. Okay, so I've reached part 2, and at this point the witch has turned Kyle into a beast. And like I said, it's like an actual beast, not what you see in the movie. So he has fur, he has fangs, he has claws. She pointed out every time he was a shitbag to someone. Like in 2nd grade, he told a girl her head got squished in a car door or something. And then, like, the year prior to when this takes place, he treated a girl so badly, she got her phone number changed and she transferred schools. In 6th grade, he didn't invite 2 kids to a party because, like, he thought they were too ugly. And then the witch was like, that's not funny. And then he's like, oh, it kind of is. Whatever. So he got what was coming to him. I don't feel sorry for him. You're not really supposed to feel sorry for him. But, like, too bad, so sad, Kyle. Like, you deserved it. And then there's another chat room sequence. And it's actually pretty funny because, like, they're trying to get him to talk about his family, but he doesn't want to. So he'll say things in all caps. And then Mr. Anderson is like, no yelling. When everything's in caps. And, like, he actually told him, like, I'll have to ask you to leave if you yell again. Okay. I just realized, talking to you right now, Mr. Anderson, that's his name, and I'm wondering if he's named after Hans Christian Andersen. Also, The Little Mermaid did say that she is in Denmark, so that was based off of Hans Christian Andersen stuff. So, it's kind of making sense now. I'm going to keep reading, because I don't really have to be in bed till like 12:30, and that's 2 hours from now, so maybe I can get like more than, no, I can't get more. Maybe I can get like quarter way through this book. Okay, I've only read 1 chapter just because I'm super tired right now and I really should be getting to bed now that I'm thinking about it. So in this chapter, his dad finds out his look. And that's when and at this point, there's a little moment where you do kind of feel sorry for him, because I think at this point, it does show that Kyle is slightly self-aware, because his dad says no son of mine is going to look like that. So, you know, Kyle, like, he's questioning, because Kyle does say that he's worried about that line. So it begs the question, what parent doesn't love their kid no matter what they look like? Like, are looks really that important? So we're going to end it there, and I'm going to go to bed and go to work and then read later tomorrow. So I was hoping to get this book done within, I just poked myself in the eye. I was hoping to get this book done within like 2 days of first picking it up. I haven't touched this book in 4 days. My new job has taken the energy out of me because my shifts all start at 6 in the morning. They end at 2, but by the time I get home, I'm exhausted, I don't want to do anything, and then I need to be in bed by like 8:30, and I read at night. Like, for example, it is currently 10:55. Ooh, shit, I almost broke something. It's currently 10:55 p.m. So, we're going to pick it up now because I did not have to work today. Thank God. They asked me to come in, and I'm like, I can't do it. So I needed a rest. I worked 6 days in a row. So, we're going to start reading now, and we're going to do the live reaction like we've been doing. Hopefully, I know at this point, because he is in the apartment now by himself, at this point, from what I remember, Kyle, is that even his name? Am I, like, misremembering that? But anyway, at this point, Kyle does start getting better from what I remember, but again, the last time I read this, I was, like, 13, so my definition of a good guy was a lot different than it is at 22. 1.5 chapters in tonight's reading, and I already have a comment to make. So Kyle called his girlfriend Sloane to come over and be like, hey, love me, or would you love me if I was ugly? And she was like, oh yeah, of course, I'll come over. So as you predicted, she doesn't love him because he's ugly, blah, blah, blah. So him and his dad are looking for doctors to help him. So a doctor, you know, is trying to make it relatable. Like, you know, when I was younger, I thought I was ugly because I had really bad acne. But I eventually found someone, and his dad actually told this man, eventually, meaning after you finish med school, made a ton of money so a woman would look past her looks. You guys, I cannot stand this dad. Even Kyle scolded him. And if Kyle's scolding his father, you know it's a shit show. Like, you see where Kyle gets it from, and like, he's dismissive of Kyle, he doesn't talk to Kyle, he won't look at, and now that Kyle's ugly, it's even worse. He doesn't want his son to, like, not look handsome. And then he makes comments like these to strangers, and this book is so frustrating. It's a lot more frustrating than I remember it being. Okay, so Kyle's, like, shaving away at his arm, and it just proves that even if, no matter what he does, the hair will always grow back, or the fur, I guess. And it reminds me of that scene in the Santa Claus when Tim Allen, like, becomes Santa, shaves the beard, and as he's, like, smiling in the mirror, it just grows back. That's what it reminds me of. Also, he has this philosophical line. What if someone shot me? And if so, which was worse? To die or to live forever as a monster? And, like, isn't that a line in Shutter Island? Like, the movie? I'm pretty sure it's one of the last things Leo DiCaprio says in the movie. Kyle has this mirror, and it's like the mirror that you see in Beauty and the Beast, a Disney movie that the Beast can talk into. He just says a name like, show me Linda Owens, and you can see that person. So Linda Owens is being introduced to us. She's the girl at the beginning of the novel that was working prom, or homecoming, whatever it was, and then, you know, he gave the rose to. And she lives in a shit environment. Where she's from is pretty shitty. She has like a drug addict father who kind of abuses her. And, you know, he does the classic line, "Oh, I wish I could save her." So we all know where this is going. Then part 3 starts, which is called The Castle, and now Kyle lives in this apartment in Brooklyn. It just proves that his dad is as shitty as ever, because Kyle realizes that the whole first floor is to himself, then the second floor is like another house, and he's talking to his maid, and his maid is the one that breaks it to him, like, your dad's not living with you. Kyle's not stupid, so he knows his dad doesn't want to live with him, like, at all. His dad doesn't even want to communicate with him. All the internet is gone. He had to beg Magda to give him a phone, and at first Magda's like, there aren't any phones. Even when he's called his dad was trying to hang up and not talk to him, and then he eventually made the ultimatum, like, either you talk to me or go on NBC and show myself, and then his dad chose to cooperate. You know, I do feel bad for Kyle in this instance. That really, as shitty as Kyle is, like, he's 14, and in a story like this, since he's the main character, you know, he's gonna grow and change. But it has to be really shitty when your parent just ignores you like that. It's just so stupid. Like, his dad just doesn't want him around because of the way he looks. Can you, like, I just can't imagine doing that to my own child. Like, "Hey child, I hate you because you're ugly." Like, what? Like, no, I can't even imagine I can't imagine seeing my child as ugly. So, that's why I hate this dad. I kind of want to, he needs to be slapped. Like, I want to beat him up, basically. And then, so Kyle demanded internet, and he had to, like, promise his dad that he wouldn't do anything stupid. And he told his dad, "I never want you to visit me." But he told his dad that because he knew his dad doesn't want to visit him anyway, and his dad didn't even argue with that. He just said, whatever you want, Kyle. And it sucks. And I will say, Kyle redeemed himself a bit in this chapter because he got really mad at Magda. So he started throwing shit around. But he cleaned up after himself and apologized. We're already seeing character growth. Also, you could tell when this book was published because he mentioned Blockbuster. So I fell asleep, and then I didn't read last night because I was too busy watching The Mandalorian, crying over Baby Yoda, filming a video, uploading said video. Actually, I'm uploading it now. I was editing the video last night. But yeah, the video's about my acceptance into the Disney College program, so that's really exciting. But alas, I have to be at work in about 2 hours, so I'm just going to read until then, because I don't think I'm going to be able to read tonight. I work from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. And I actually want to watch the Thanksgiving Day parades tomorrow, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I haven't watched those since, like, before middle school, so it's going to be a good time, I think. Also, Somewhere from West Side Story stuck in my head. I've been listening to that album on repeat because I love West Side Story. So they're all going to be in my head as I'm reading. It's going to be distracting. But anyway, I could probably finish this book sooner if I didn't update you guys on, like, every time I thought something was ridiculous. I've updated you guys at least once per chapter so far. But it gives me so much material. Okay, so I was able to read 2 chapters without updating you. But here we go. So Will's dad brought in a tutor, and of course the tutor is blind because the dad doesn't want this tutor, whose name is Will, to see how ugly his son is, and he made him, like, sign this huge contract that you'll never speak to this about anyone, or speak about this to anyone, you won't, like, write a book or whatever. And Kyle was kind of a dick to him, but, like, he later apologized. So we are at the point where Kyle is growing more self-aware, and then Will made him read The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and of course there's, like, similarities between Quasimodo and Kyle, and he notices that right away, and now they're planting roses and shit, and Kyle, like I said, Kyle's becoming more self-aware. He mentioned that he was nothing but rude to Magda, and he's shocked that she stayed so long. We're getting there. Another hint to how old this book is, he was looking for a woman on MySpace. I remember those days. Not looking for a woman on MySpace, but I remember. I didn't have a MySpace. I just, like, I would always, like, play on my friends with her. 10-year-olds on MySpace. That sounds like a bad time, but we did it. We did it. Kyle finally had the past thrown in his face. He snuck over to a party and was eavesdropping on his friend Trey and this other guy named Graydon. And he was waiting for Trey to defend him because Graydon asked, "Oh, whatever happened to Kyle?" Trey didn't defend him. Ooh, they, like, talked major shit about how, like, Kyle thought he was better than everyone, especially because of who his dad was. And Trey literally said, "I'm glad that guy's gone." Ooh, so then finally this dude, Kyle, is like, "Oh my god, they didn't like me even when I'm hot." So, like, that just shows looks aren't everything. Okay, I need to stop reading, so I'm going to do a quick update. From what I've read now, Kyle had a mishap on Halloween. He was very excited because, you know, his monster look is basically a costume. He meets a girl, they go to a party. She wants to see what he really looks like because she genuinely thinks he's wearing a costume. And the whole situation was kind of weird. I'm a little uncomfortable about it because, you know, she kept trying to, like, without Kyle's permission, she was trying to pull his mask off, like, touching his neck, trying to pull, and he kept telling her no, and she wouldn't pull away. That made me, obviously didn't really think anything of that when I read this at 13 years old, but now that I'm older, I'm like, imagine if the roles were switched. Like, imagine if it was, like, normal looking Kyle trying to pull the mask off a beastly looking girl. Like, we tell the guy to, like, get off. So I'm like, he told you no and you keep trying. You know, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. I don't know. But anyway, Kyle, like, freaks out. He pushes her away and then he breaks her arm by accident. And, you know, he's horrified with himself, so he runs away. So now we're at the part of the book where he doesn't want to go by Kyle anymore. He's Adrian now, and he was depressed for a while. But then he found love in roses, and then someone broke into his greenhouse. And who was it? It was the father of Lindy, the girl he was watching in the mirror. And her father's a dick because Kyle, or Adrian I guess now, so Adrian was pretending to, you know, be about to kill him. He wasn't actually going to do it, but he wanted to threaten the guy. And the guy just gave up his daughter for his life and drugs. Literally said, I have a daughter. Don't kill me and I'll give her to you. Like, and even Adrian said, like, what dad does that? So the dads in this book are horrendous. They're horrible, horrible people. But I just got done with the chapter where Adrian's really excited, decorated the room, blah, blah, blah. That's all I can read for now because I need to leave the house in 15 minutes, so I need to, like, get out of my pajamas and actually put my hair up. And then peace the fuck out. So, who knows when I'll pick this book up again, because remember, my goal was to finish this yesterday. Actually, my goal was to finish this Monday, and it's Wednesday. So, but we're over halfway through. So that's good. Today was Black Friday, and I had to go to work. It was not as bad as I thought it would be, because, like, everyone told me it'd be a shit show. It was, but it wasn't a stressful one that I couldn't deal with. I did get to read 3 chapters tonight. I couldn't read a lot, because for some ungodly reason, I wasn't supposed to work tomorrow, but then they asked me to come in at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. For whatever goddamn reason, I agreed to it. I know the reason. It's because I'm poor. Really like that paycheck. So I need to be up at 3 in the morning so I can get to work on time. I'm really dreading this, but I got this. I need the paycheck. I just realized I'm talking to you guys with my retainer in my mouth. Oh, so as of now, Lindy has moved into Adrian's home. She hated him at first, and, you know, totally understandable. In these 3 chapters, she moved in and met him, and she was shocked to find out that he's only 16, and then not some, you know, like, old pervy guy. And that's really it. I didn't really do a lot of commentary because there was nothing, like, you know, there was nothing outrageous to comment on, just because Adrian is growing as a character, and I really appreciate that. I'm seeing the subtle changes. He's becoming a lot nicer. He's actually listening to Will's advice, and he's not arguing. He's actually considering it, and you could see in his exposition, you could see him debating with himself, like, yes, I really want to do this, but, you know, I have to listen to Will, so he always goes with what Will says. I don't know, man. Adrian King, like, 3/4 of the way, like, not even 3/4 of the way, is a lot different than he was in the beginning of the book. He's not making rude comments anymore, and you know what? I'm all for it. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I totally understand why he was so rude in the beginning, because it was supposed to paint a picture, but still, some of that stuff was just so outrageous, and I'm glad he's growing and becoming a romantic. He likes to learn about poetry and memorize poetry, and how sweet. But that's about it. I don't know if anyone else was wondering this, but, you know, like, it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so we all know where this is going, but, like, is Beauty and the Beast Stockholm Syndrome? Because, you know, he, like, kind of kidnaps her, keeps her prisoner, and then she falls in love with him. Also, Magda's Hispanic. This whole time I thought she was Polish because I grew up in a very, very Polish neighborhood, and a lot of girls were named Magda, so I was kind of shocked about that. It really threw me off. So another thing I've noticed is that Lindy does not look like Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens is a very, very beautiful woman, whereas Lindy, she's supposed to be like the awkward, plain-looking girl. And, I mean, I know it's Hollywood, so Hollywood purposely changes things, but, you know, I like the awkward, plain-looking girl. It gives them a voice, you know? But that's it. I'm kind of just babbling, and this is, like, a pretty boring video because I'm very worn out from today. I'm just chiming in because, are you really reading a fairy tale retelling if some, like, cliched line's not in it? Because their hands touch, and he felt a bolt of electricity. Lindy and Adrian just had their first tutoring session together, and it's funny because they had to read Sonnet 54 by Shakespeare. And at one point, Lindy says the rose means just because something's beautiful doesn't mean it's good. And I'm like, that's a total jab at, like, past Adrian. We love unsubtle symbolism, I guess is what I'm going for here. Guys, the one thing, as much as I like Adrian getting better and making himself be the best he can be at this point, there's not a lot of material I can give you, you know? Like, I don't really know what to say anymore. Like, it's sweet, but I'm kind of ready for this book to be over. I cannot believe this book has taken me so long to read. Oh, so I'm not really talking about, like, the group chat that Adrian is in with other people who are transforming, because it really has nothing to do with the plot of the story, but it is, like, a nice tidbit. As I said, one of the people he's chatting with is the Little Mermaid, and a lot of her inspiration for the character actually comes from the original Hans Christian Andersen short story. Like, and I know I told you guys earlier that she is from Denmark, which is where Andersen is from. And it's really cool because the guy who moderates the group chat, his name Mr. Anderson. I think his name is Chris Anderson, actually. I forgot to mention, in the last group chat, she talked about how now that she's human, her feet bleed as she walks, which is what happened in the original short story. She's upset because, you know, the prince doesn't love her back, so she's gonna turn into sea foam, which after 300 years goes up to heaven. And that's straight from the original Andersen tale. So I think that's cool. A lot of her characterization comes from Andersen's story and not Disney's. Hello, only 3 hours until I need to go to bed. But we've read one chapter since yesterday. The author's already doing the thing that I absolutely hate that authors do in YA from this era. And it's when they say a character changed, but they don't really show it. Chapter 1 started with a whole paragraph of Adrian saying, oh, me and Lindy change. We do this. We do that. But it's not shown to us. And I'm frustrated. I just feel like it's a cheap shot of getting the plot going. But if I have to be honest, I did not expect that much more from this book, the way it's going. In that chapter, Adrian and Lindy sat up at night together because Lindy's afraid of thunder. So they watched The Princess Bride and had popcorn together. Fun fact, I don't like The Princess Bride, so that's my controversial opinion of this video. Adrian carried her to bed. My dog is barking. He mentions that he wanted to kiss her, but he's like, I can't touch her, basically without her consent kind of thing. Like, I can't take advantage of her, and I'm like, good dude, Adrian, you know, you're growing, man, because we all know, as Kyle, he probably would have just kissed her without her permission, but he doesn't want to freak her out. And the chapter ends with her saying, your voice sounds familiar. In the dark, your voice sounds familiar. So, ooh, drama. But I'm very confused, because chapter 2 of part 5, maybe I'm just a fucking idiot, but it starts out with, it got colder and wetter, and I got so I could talk to Lindy without worrying about every word. Am I stupid? Or is he telling us that that's the point he's getting to? He's getting to the point of his life where he doesn't have to worry about it. Maybe that's what he means. I don't know, I'm a fucking idiot, maybe. But that wording doesn't really make sense to me. But whatever, we're gonna keep reading. Another controversial opinion moment. So Lindy's favorite book is Jane Eyre, that we see because I just discovered it, you know, searching through boxes and shit. Guess who doesn't like Jane Eyre? Me. But also, what I like about these references, like, you know, the whole thing with the rose and, like, paintings and shit, and then, like, now Jane Eyre. I like how what's her name? Alex Flynn. I like how Alex Flynn's subtle symbolism isn't, like, subtle at all, because the reason Lindy loves Jane Eyre is that it's a story about two people that it shows that they're meant to be together, they will be together no matter what separates them, and we all know in Beauty and the Beast, they end up together, even though, you know, she's human, he's a beast, separates them. I was like, girl, you ain't subtle. It was subtle when I was 13, which again is the target audience, I guess. So rereading this, you know, almost a decade later, I'm like, okay. Okay, so in this chapter, they had a little dance scene. It was really, really cute. Kind of reminded me of the scene where Belle wears her yellow dress, and, you know, the Beast is looking all handsome in his blue tux and blah, blah, blah. But there's a part that's kind of funny. It's not supposed to be funny, but I just laughed because I remembered something. But Lindy looks at Adrian, and she calls him a friend. And in the book, he's, like, really happy about it because it's one step forward, because he's no longer, like, the kidnapper. But then he goes on, like, you know, the inner monologue where he's like, I want it to be more, blah, blah, blah. But So I didn't see the movie, so I'm getting this scene from 2 videos, you know, Jenny Nicholson's and Trin's, I forgot what her last name is. Because both of them reacted to this, and it's the part of the movie where Vanessa Hudgens, she's like in the train that's about to leave, and Alex Pettifer, whatever his last name was, the Beast, he looks at her, and Vanessa's like, and Adrian, or whatever his name is in the movie, because I know they changed it for whatever reason, and Adrian, and you know, you're waiting for her to say I love you, and she just says, you're a good friend. And I screamed during that part, because, oh my god, because I don't think any of us were expecting it, and just for him to be friend zoned like that, I screamed, and that's what that reminded me of. Totally different vibes, so it wasn't supposed to be funny, but I laughed. Okay, so Adrian is thinking about Lindy as she sleeps upstairs 2 floors above his, and he wants to be in bed with her and all that. And he said this gorgeous line. He's talking about, you know, waking up and his sheets are soaking wet. And, you know, I'm not an idiot, so I know he means he's sweating, but for a second there, that's not where my mind went. Wait, hold up, you guys. I'm on page 230, and Lindy has been living with Adrian for 5 months now. I thought it was still like a week or 2. Where was the development for this? What? So they're on some like mini retreat right now, and Lindy was cold, so he put a blanket on her. And first of all, he went into her room without knocking. He kind of just opened the door, and I know at 13 I was like, oh, how romantic. But if that were to happen to me at 22, I'd probably freak out. But whatever, I guess. But he states in the book that he watched her sleep for hours. And now I'm wondering, am I really reading Beastly or am I reading fucking Twilight? Alright, y'all, we got less than 30 pages left, and my preteen, early teen, childhood fantasy happens in this book, and I've completely forgot about that. You know, when we were like super young, a lot of us, like guys too, like all children, I should just say, have really like problematic fantasies, so to speak. I had a fantasy that one day I was gonna, you know, my fantasy was that I was gonna meet my husband by him saving me from some disastrous event. The reason I say that's problematic is because, like, you know, at the time I'm like, I want some disastrous event to happen so I can meet my husband because he's gonna save me. And like, now at 22, you bet your ass I want no disastrous event happening to me. I will meet my husband in some other way. But it happens in this book. So I just read the part where he's looking in the mirror. He has 2 hours left before he's a beast forever. Because at this point, Lindy left and, you know, he was melodramatic about it. But Adrian's looking in his mirror and he sees Lindy is calling for her because this guy is attacking her. And he goes to save her. And this is where she confesses love and shit. I haven't finished the chapter, but I know it's coming. And I'm like, wow. No wonder I liked this as a teen then. The fight scene was very, very underwhelming. It was 3 sentences long. My teeth were in his neck. My nails were in his arm. He wasn't moving anymore. So nothing exciting. Adrian is no longer a beast and he's back to being Kyle, and holy shit was this chapter so fucking cheesy. I cannot, if you know me, I cannot handle cheesy romance. Like, at all. Like, watching Hallmark movies with my mom is horrible. I just do it to spend time with her, but, like, I can't. I just make fun of them so much. But anyway, this was so fucking cheesy. I can't, guys. I fucking can't. At one time, he did call her my love, but he commented on that. He's like, did I actually just say that? And there was one line where I was literally like, oh my fucking God. Lindy was asking him how it happened, and he's like, magic! It was magic! And the magic is called love! And I literally went, oh my God. I cannot. Also, this chapter is supposed to be so serious, but I kept laughing, because Lindy, understandably, was so shocked to find Kyle Kingsbury in the place of Adrian. She's like, where the fuck is this beast boy? And just, it's not supposed to be funny, but for some reason, I just couldn't stop laughing. I am so horrible. He's Kyle now. They're going on the subway, and he made, you know, the cheesy line. He's like, my clothes are too big, but people probably won't notice. Because before that, people noticed a beast was on the train, and they tried to kill him. So that was kind of interesting. Anyway, I read the last chat room conversation thing, and what actually happened is different than what I remember. Because for some reason, I always thought the Little Mermaid's problem got solved, and it didn't at all. like, they just said, oh, I miss her. Grizzly Bear found his wife. Mr. Anderson asked them, like, oh, are there wedding bells in the air soon? And Grizzly said yes. And then fucking Kyle, I guess he's Kyle now, was like, not yet, because we're in high school, but maybe someday. And I was like, y'all are fucking 16. Can't relate. Just some more cheesy shit that I need to share with you. So they're on the news right now, right? Because everyone's like, oh, Beast, whatever. But then, here's this famous line. Magic. Lindy's laugh was a little forced, a little fake. The crowd laughed too. Magic and Beast only exist in fairy tales, or maybe drug-induced hallucinations. But heroes and villains are real. I would be slow clapping right now if I didn't have a book in one hand and my camera in the other. But I just finished the second to last chapter, and in this chapter you find out that Kendra was Magda the whole time. Okay, I'm confusion. Wait, so then is she actually Latin American or is she Polish? Or supposed to resemble one or the other? I'm confused. So then Lindy went on this rant. She's like, oh, you're so perfect. I wanted to wish some type of imperfection on you because boys like you don't date girls like me. Insert a bunch of cheesy lines about why that's not true for Adrian. Also, he's going by Adrian. He doesn't want to go by Kyle. I have one more chapter left. I'm determined to get this done. Screw going to bed, I guess. And I'll record my reactions, because I did it for the first chapter, so I'll record my reactions for this one, and then give my final thoughts, and then peace the fuck out. Okay, so this is the epilogue. Senior year of high school. So everyone's explanation for why Adrian left was, he flunked out of boarding school and had an affair with the headmaster's daughter, or had a nervous breakdown. Alright. While they text message, no one says it like that. Teachers will. Box of Cheetos. Not bad. Okay. Enjoy this book. That depends how you're asking it. Because my critical rating versus my enjoyment rating, like pure enjoyment rating, are two different ratings. Critically, I'm giving this book 1 out of 5 stars because the writing style is not my favorite. But enjoyment level, like, I'd give this 4 out of 5 stars because some things happened that made me laugh my fucking ass off. Not because the scene was necessarily funny, it was just because of the turn of events, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Someone on Twitter was talking about how they hate when a character changes from point A to point B super fast with no development, and I felt that way about Kyle Adrian. Like, I know obviously the point of this novel was for him to change. It just happened out of nowhere. They read like two different people, and I don't mean that in a good way. Like, you know, you could read books like this where, yes, the character comes off as two different people from the beginning to the end of the book, but you could still tell it's that character, and I just don't get that with Kyle Adrian. Also, I found Lindy to be a just really flat, bland character. She doesn't stand out, and it's no wonder to me now that why I forgot so much about this book, like, going into it. It is a forgettable book, in my opinion, and I will be unhauling this at the end of the year. But that's really all I have to say about this. Will I be watching the movie? That is a hard no. No, you can't make me watch this movie. I don't want to. So, do not look forward to that because it's not happening. It's bedtime. I need to wake up at 5 in the morning. So, If you want to follow me on social media, I have a Twitter, which is @dom_p_is_here. This is where I'll be putting all my YouTube updates. I have an Instagram, which is @dom_has_photos, which is where I put all my photography. I'll be linking these 2 accounts down below, along with my Goodreads, Letterboxd, and a Facebook page for my animal photography called Fascinating Creatures. So follow me on all 5 accounts. Stalk me. Stalk my life, I guess. Fun time. Without further ado, I'm going to peace out. I hope you enjoyed this video because it actually was fairly fun making it and sharing my comments with you guys. Will you be reading this book? Let me know. And I'm going to go now. Ciao, tutti.